So good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here in Tallinn this morning to celebrate 95 years of Tallinn Water. And congratulations to Tallinn Water for achieving this. So I'm here this morning to talk about the challenges that we are facing as a water sector, especially here in Europe. So I'm going to talk about the main challenges that we are facing and tell you a little bit about EurEau, and also look at how we are dealing with these challenges, some of the solutions to them. So I'll start off with just a little bit about EurEau. We were founded in 1975. We are the European Federation of National Associations of Water Services. So I hope you all know EVEL. EVEL is the Estonian representative in EurEau. So overall, we represent 36 national associations of water services. Latvia is our most recent member. They're so recent, they're not even on this map, but they will be added to the map very, very soon. And EVEL joined in 2015, back then. So overall, we're present in 31 countries, and we represent drinking and wastewater service providers from both the public and the private sector. And overall, we estimate that there are about 70,000 different water operators from across Europe in our membership. In Europe, we estimate that, based on research, of course, that about 97% of people are connected to some sort of drinking water service, and around 87% of people are connected to some sort of waste service provider. The rest of those people have individual systems or are part of a different part of the community. In EurEau, we lobby the EU institutions on your behalf, and this is all about protecting the consumer and making sure that we have good environmental legislation that protects the environment as well. There is an awful lot of legislation going through the EU institutions at the moment. The most recent proposal from the Commission is the recent Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive proposal. In the past, we have also concluded the Drinking Water Directive in early 2020, and also this is some of the legislation going through the EU institutions at the moment, so ranging from everything from chemicals legislation to pharmaceuticals to agriculture, economics, security. Basically, we all know that water touches every part of the economy, and so therefore the European Commission has something to say about it, and we have something to say about it as well. So in 2020, EurEau, we surveyed our members and we assessed what the biggest challenges are facing the sector across Europe. So we came up with 8 challenges. The first one being delivering drinking and wastewater services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So as I don't know if you're doing much work on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. But Goal 6 is about supplying water to everybody. So we are supplying drinking water services to people across Europe and then treating the wastewater before it goes back into the environment to make sure that all of our environment and our consumers are protected. We are all about protecting water as a vulnerable resource as well. So this leads back to the EU goal as announced a couple of years ago about the zero pollution ambition. The less pollution that goes into our environment, the less pollution that has to be taken out of it. This is also about dealing with micropollutants, microplastics, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, agriculture. So we're working with all of these to make sure that our water is protected. We are also looking at promoting the value of water and the value of our water services. So we have to engage with our consumers. This is absolutely essential. And this is about providing transparency in people's bills so that they understand what services they are paying for and the outcome of these. So we have to engage with our consumers to make sure that they understand why they're paying their bills, and then making sure that this is reinvested back into our infrastructure. We're also about promoting water in the circular economy. So circular economy, as we all know, is reducing our impact on the environment, reusing what we have, and recycling too. So here we're looking at how water forms an integral part of the circular economy, and seeing how we can reuse this resource, reuse the energy that comes from our water services, reusing the nutrients that come from our wastewater, and then putting these back into the environment in a sustainable way. A key part of this, and a key part of what we do in EurEau, what we're promoting strongly, is control at source. Because, like I just said, the fewer things that go into our environment in a bad way, the fewer things we have to take out of our water and our resources before they can be reused. But I'll deal with this a little bit more in a moment. Moving ahead, the fifth challenge that we identified is about energy and resource efficiency. I'm going to talk a little bit more about energy in a couple of moments, but this is all about delivering the EU's goal for a Green Deal across Europe, and making sure that we are energy efficient and that we are using this resource effectively and appropriately. Number 6 is all about innovation. We are a tech-heavy field, a tech-heavy sector, and so making sure that we have the innovation there to make the best use of this is highly important. And this also leads back to the people that we work with in the sector. We estimate that in the European water sector, we employ around 470,000 people. So that's almost 500,000 people across the sector. And that's from engineers to technicians to legal people to communications people like myself, all working to make sure that we deliver these goals. But this also deals with innovation, people who are working in research and development, so that we have the best available technology to put onto the market so that we can make the best use of all of these goals. We also have to look at our long-term investment. We work in a sector where our investments last for a very, very long time. All of our water treatment plants, they're usually in business for around 50 years or so, more or less. So the investments that we make now will have a huge impact in the future because they will be used as well. And this all leads back into innovation and to making the best use of what we have. And then finally, the biggest challenge, of the big challenges that we identified in EurEau is about dealing with natural disasters and man-made disasters. So between, this can range from anything from climate change. I don't know if, I do know, we all experienced the drought this summer and last summer and even for the past few years. So it's all about dealing with the impacts of climate change, mitigating these, and seeing how we can best deal with the impacts of drought, and then also with floods on the reverse side. And then there's also the case of man-made security risks. So the one of the pieces of legislation that we're dealing with at the moment in EurEau, coming from the European Commission, is about cybersecurity and ensuring that we don't have either cyber attacks or terrorist attacks on our water infrastructure. So it's all about making sure that that security is there so that we can keep providing safe and clean water services to all of our consumers. So, what are the best ways to handle these challenges? It's true that we're facing a truly extraordinary situation at the moment across Europe and across the world as well. We're just having a confluence, just a meeting point of really unprecedented circumstances between the current war situation in Ukraine, which is affecting energy prices across Europe, which is impacting on a cost of living crisis for people everywhere. And then also we're all just coming out of a pandemic. And we really showed the resilience of our water services over the past couple of years as we all continue to deliver these water services that were so essential to keeping clean and safe. So there is a sense across EurEau members that they are hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And part of this is, some of what's coming from this is then, how are we going to deal with the energy crisis that's coming? We have to become more energy independent. We're looking at this energy crisis. We're trying to take the positive side of this, because here, the water sector in Europe, we have been calling for more resilience across our sector and looking at more energy, renewable energy, for the past number of years. And the good news is that the European Commission has been backing this up as well. So the European Commission, years ago, they announced this Green Deal and their green ambitions for the future. And this is all about becoming more energy independent and using an awful lot more renewable energy sources. And as the water sector, we have a lot of those, and we have an awful lot of them, and they are renewable. So energy prices are having a negative impact on our services, and this impacts everything from chemicals to services to everything. So cost recovery is becoming a lot more important, especially because we need these costs, the money that we take in, to pay for investments. We have been talking to our colleagues across Europe, like I said, and as I said, they are preparing for the worst. So we have colleagues across Europe, from Ireland to Finland, who are preparing for energy blackouts and looking at how they are going to be dealing with this. To deal with this, we have to work together, and that is the plain and simple fact. We are looking at practical solutions, and one of the solutions that we are looking at, like I said earlier, is looking at control at source. Now, the European Commission, the EU institutions, they are very supportive of this, and it is written into the EU treaties that we should have control at source. The fewer impurities, the fewer bad things that go into our water, the fewer we have to remove. So the need for less treatment, which saves on our energy costs. This should also be backed up by extended producer responsibility, or be financed by EPR schemes. So we are looking at how we can work together to do this, because by working together and by speaking with one voice, we can achieve an awful lot more than we can by doing it individually. We also need to look at how we can adapt new business models and make better use of the raw materials that we are looking at. We need to become energy producers. This can also involve looking at energy recovery. And implementing control at source measures will help achieve this and help achieve this energy balance, while extended producer responsibility will help finance it. There's more good news as well. Innovation will help drive this change, and there's so much innovation out there. So a little bit of shameless plugging on my part. In EurEau, we recently launched, just in October, we launched our new innovation sharing platform. So this is a platform for you guys to use. It is open to EurEau members and to our members' members, so to water treatment plants here in Estonia, for example, and to your academics that you work with. What it is, it's a platform to help you guys get talking to your colleagues from across Europe, where you can share ideas, share your innovations, you can ask questions and share solutions. And you can find the platform. You need access to it, so you get access by asking me, because I need to give you an individual password. And you can get this at euro-innovation.org or email info@euro.org. You can also email me at caroline.greene@euro.org as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. We have a few questions also. Talking about climate change.
Yes.
What do you think? What are the biggest challenges and threats in Europe when we're talking about drinking water?
Oh, wow. We're talking about drinking water. There we are looking at security of supply. And one of the problems that we have faced in Europe, especially over the past few summers, has been the droughts that we've all been experiencing. So reduced water availability, reduced levels in our reservoirs. This is one of the big problems that we have all been facing. And some of the solutions that we've been looking at, like we all know what the problems associated with reduced supply are. Solutions that we are looking at would include trying to ensure that we have enough reserves at the rest of the year to be able to shore up supply. And again, like we have to keep looking at our micropollutants, at our things that are going into the water, making sure that we don't use up too much of our groundwater reservoirs.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned cooperation. Is there any plan for focusing water sector practical partnership?
A water sector partnership? Well, there are lots of associations out there that promote partnerships. In EurEau, you're more than welcome to get in contact with us to see how you can get involved in that. Yeah. And like at the European Commission level, the Commission is always looking for experts to input to their legislation, to their proposals, and you can always get involved with the Commission through the individual public consultations that they run. But there's also the expert groups that EurEau is a part of, such as there's the Water JPI, there's the Common Implementation Strategy groups, the CIS working groups, the bathing water expert groups such as this that the Commission runs. There's also other associations like IWA that you're all aware of too.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and for answers also. Thank you.
Thank you.